guys. So, Wrath of Man, or Man of Wrath, I always get that backwards. Wrath of Man was directed by Guy Ritchie and stars Jason Statham. And it follows the story of H, a mysterious man working as a truck driver for a cash company who loses his son, so he seeks justice. I've said this many times before in past videos talking about this man's movies. I have followed Jason Statham ever since Transporter back in 2002. I always liked his acting. I always liked his style. But Wrath of Man was kind of what you expect. So without further ado, and I'll elaborate that later, let's get into the positives of Wrath of Man. The story. I liked where they went with it. At first, it took me about 30 to 40 minutes, probably close to like the second act, to figure out what was going on because of all the time jumps, and that's all I'll say without ruining it. But they do time jump a lot, and it goes back and forth, and it's kind of a fleshed out character film. They flesh out a lot of the characters. Yeah, you got one group of guys on this side, and then you got another group of guys on this side. And they tell each other stories, pretty much, and it just fleshes them out pretty well. And I like that concept. Granted, it was a little slow, but the story was pretty good once it formed into what it was trying to say. There's a lot going on, but as the movie progressed, you do understand what's going on because, like I said, there is a lot that goes on, but as the movie continues, after about 30-40 minutes, you get the gist of it. And the characters was great, namely Jason Statham himself. As I said, I followed this man's career since 2002, Transporter. And ever since then, he's just been pretty much of a badass. He plays pretty much the same character, but the way he does it, it's really good. It's really awesome. It's kick-ass. He basically is just a serious character. And in this, he's no different, but no worse either. It's basically pretty much what we come to expect from a Jason Statham film. And I just gotta say, it's always a party, pretty much. Like a party keg, watching him kicking ass and taking names. Josh Hartnett also starred in this, and I hadn't seen that man since Lucky Number 11. Yes, he's come out with a couple of maybe B movies, direct-to-DVD hits, but none of them was big. And ever since Lucky Number 11, which came out back in 06, he just hadn't been that big. And before that, for me anyway, was Halloween H2O. That just goes to show you how much this guy's kind of been on my radar. But I thought he was pretty good, especially in those other movies, and he was also good in Wrath of Man. There I go again. And Scott Eastwood was a total badass. He was a pretty good villain. You know, Scott Eastwood, as many of you know, is Clint Eastwood's son, and the first movie I seen him in was Texas Chainsaw that came out back in 2013. And ever since then, he's kind of been popping up a lot here lately, more recently in the Fast and Furious, Fate of the Furious to be exact. And I think he's a pretty good actor. I think he's doing his father proud. The look and feel of this was very slick. You could tell this was a Guy Ritchie film. It was very slick. It was very out there. It was just in your face, but in a really cool way. Like I said, you could definitely tell this is a Guy Ritchie film. I will go on record and say that I'm not really that big of a fan of his films, but this one actually built up my confidence for the man. Speaking of which, the direction. You know, like I said, Guy Ritchie directed this, and rolling into this, I was totally expecting a Guy Ritchie film. I knew what I was getting into. It was well played out. Again, it took me about 30 to 40 seconds to understand what was going on and to understand the main plot. But once it got rolling, it never stopped. It was pretty fascinating. It was pretty interesting. And the direction was pretty cool. Like I said, I like those time jumps where you try to figure out what the hell's going on. It's like one of those dramatic mysteries where, okay, you see one segment of the film, which when it starts off, you're trying to figure out what's going on because it's in like a one-person view sort of shot, or not exactly a one-person view, but like a one-shot type of view. And then you figure out, okay, that's what that was about later on. And I like that. It like builds up the tension. It builds up the confidence you have in the type of movie you're watching. It's basically a heist movie. Sum it all up with a bow. It's a heist movie. There you go. End of review. Just kidding. Again, I understand what the filmmakers was going for. It was pretty interesting. However, even though I knew what I was getting into, seeing Jason Statham in a movie I always expect, and maybe this is my fault, I've said this many times in my past videos, but you can't expect much. And since I knew this was a Guy Ritchie film, okay, I'll bite. But I was just hoping, and here comes the negatives, that there would be a little bit more action in it. That's the only downfall. With me, I want action. I want more explosions. Yes, there was some good shoot-em-ups here, and Jason Statham, when he was kicking ass and taking names, he was awesome in it. But it just didn't balance out for me. And therefore, the tone and pace was a little slow. But again, I understand what this movie was going for. I know I'll get a lot of comments in the comment section if I have more subscribers telling me off in this sense. But, you know, I'm sticking with it. But I just, you know, I know what the movie was going for. So don't get me wrong there. But I still like action. I'm an action junkie. I live action. I breathe the action. If there wasn't any action movies around, I wouldn't be here. But still, the film had its moments. When Jason Statham was doing his thing, and the scenes that was actually showing him doing his thing, it was a treat. It was a hoot. It was a blast. Still some badassery from Jason Statham, and you couldn't expect anything less. So if you're a Guy Ritchie fan, as well as a Jason Statham one, you might enjoy this movie to the max. But if you're expecting much in terms of action, there's not much here. It's an acquired taste. So, Man of Wrath, or Wrath of Man, however you want to pronounce it. Have you seen it yet? What did you think of it? Is this your favorite Guy Ritchie film? And is this your favorite Jason Statham film? Or have you seen better? Leave me your comment down below and give me your thoughts. Stay tuned for more videos and reviews coming soon. Like, subscribe, comment, and share this video. It helps my channel out. And I will see you on the next one. Peace, the Rapper.